Hello, my friends. I'm making today's video in response to a comment that I received for another video of mine that I made titled Parkinson's and Levodopa Phobia. So let me read this comment really quickly to you. I have the opposite problem. The neurologist prescribed co-carbidopa, calling it the gold standard treatment. He assured me I would feel a lot better. It did nothing. It's useless. 9 months in, I had the follow-up appointment. He clearly didn't believe that the co-carbidopa wasn't working, or if it wasn't, it's because I wasn't taking the correct dose or at the correct time. So he was blaming me for all the failure of his crappy fake gold pills. I had done research and said I wanted to try a dopamine agonist instead. He refused, telling me that it would cause me to gamble all my money away through the lack of impulse control. Hence, I'm 5 months in and I'm stuck with a drug that doesn't work and missing out on trying a dopamine agonist that might work. And so, what's problematic about this comment is that, okay, carbidopa levodopa, the gold standard, did not work for this person, and that the doctor didn't believe them, and that this person had done their own research, felt that well, hey, other people are being prescribed dopamine agonists, maybe this might be a good avenue for me to explore, which is not too far-fetched, but that it sounds like the doctor refused to even consider it because he had his own phobias about prescribing it, and end of discussion. So that's not good. And so what do you do? I mean, this is a terrible situation to be in. And so here's what I put together. This is what I would do if I were in this person's situation. It says finding the right medication or combination of medications to treat your Parkinson's symptoms is a process that takes time and effort from you and your doctor. We need to be our own advocates when we are meeting with our doctors. This doesn't mean that we know more than our doctors do. We can come prepared to these appointments and ready for a refusal and respectfully advocate for what we believe is best for us, the reasons why. All of us would love to have every visit with our doctor, or any time we're in this world of medicine, we would love to have these visits just go perfectly and as smoothly as possible, but this isn't the reality that we live in. Many of us are gonna face challenges with doctors or in this world, so if we're prepared to advocate for ourselves, this will help us face the challenges that many of us are gonna face while we're trying to navigate this disease. Okay, so the first thing that I would do is 9 months is that's just such a long time for a follow-up appointment. I would do everything that I could to get it to 3 months. I feel like 3 months is reasonable, and could we just have a phone call appointment to follow up? Could we just meet virtually? Do you have a nurse I could email and let you know how I'm responding to the medicine? But yeah, 9 months, it's almost a year. It's just way too long for a follow-up. So that's the first thing that I would do is I'd be like, okay, let's get this follow-up 3 months. What do you think about that, doc? That's what I would try. It would be nice if just you saying alone that, look, this did not work for me, my symptoms have not been reduced, I would like to try something else. That should do it, but in case, they might want a little bit more, keep a journal. Did I try it with on an empty stomach? Did I eat food? How was I sleeping? That kind of stuff. Just to maybe satisfy their wanting something a little bit more than you're saying that it didn't work. This is not the first time that I've heard that carbidopa levodopa didn't work for somebody, and it's kind of hard to process and believe because it is what's the gold standard treatment. It's what's most prescribed. And I responded so beautifully to it. It's just how could it not work for somebody else? But that is the reality. Most of us it will work for just fine, but there are going to be people that it doesn't work for. Okay, and then that leads us to this great question, which is, why does medication work for some people and not for others? And I came across something that I thought was interesting. I will also include a link to this article from a pharmacist who is, I believe, a professor as well from University of Connecticut, I believe, but this is what he wrote. It says, different people taking the same drug can have markedly different responses to the same dose. While many people will get the intended effects, some may get too little to no benefit, and others may get unwanted side effects. So, and then he goes on, like there's genetics, there is like organs like kidney and liver functions, enzymes, and just and inflammation actually. If you have chronic inflammation, that can affect the way that medications work. I mean, it was actually a fascinating article. I highly recommend checking it out. Yeah, and so I would put this in my little advocate file. I'd print out that Michael J. Fox thing about how you should work with your doctor. And keep in mind, this is like a worst case scenario, right? I'm preparing for the worst case scenario. Nobody should ever have to say to their doctor like, hey, not all medicines work the same way for everybody. Can I try something else that's used for Parkinson's, please? Some people find themselves in strange places, and so I don't want to discount that. But yeah, have like an article like this from this, pharmacist from the University of Connecticut, like, hey, here it is. These are the reasons why. Not all medicines affect people the same way. Parkinson's disease itself is already complicated, and then if you add the additional layer of complication with medicines working too much or not working enough or not working at all, it adds to the challenges that we face while trying to manage and live our best that we can with this disease. If there is a medicine that you'd like to try, that you've done your own research about, know the reasons why, and also know all of the side effects that potentially your doctor might counter with, right? So with this person, they wanted to try a dopamine agonist. You will often hear this when you read about it and the warnings about the impulse control. The reality is not everybody is going to have the impulse control issue. Now, what's interesting is for me, I kind of have impulse control issues already going into it. So I knew that dopamine agonist would not be good for me, more than likely. So I didn't want to go that route. But this person who wrote the comment, they did their own research, and yet, the doctor's fear and phobia of it, took precedent over what the patient was inquiring about. And so, again, in this worst case scenario, you're trying to convince your doctor that, okay, it's like, I took the carbidopa-levodopa, it's not working for me. This is another commonly prescribed medicine that is used for managing Parkinson's symptoms. And I've done my research. I know that some people have had impulse control issues, but I'm not worried about that for myself. Here are the reasons why. So that way you can counter and explain, and it shows too that you've thought about the worst case scenarios for yourself and that it's not a concern. That maybe you've got family and friends who can kind of keep an eye on you and your impulses, but know the reasons why you want to try the medicine, and then as a way to kind of counter any potential refusal, like, oh no, you don't want to do that. And finally, that thing that I printed out from the Michael J. Fox website. Again, like, no one should ever be in this situation, but like clearly people are. And so I would have that little printout and maybe like a little highlight, and it would just be like, I would love to work with you on this. I've tried carbidopa-levodopa, it is not working for me, so I'm thinking that this might be best. Here are the reasons why. Can we please work on this together? I would like to try it. If it doesn't work, then maybe we could try something else. This is my understanding of how it's supposed to work with this disease, and according to the Michael J. Fox Foundation and others, this just shouldn't be happening to anybody. And if your doctor continues to refuse, I would absolutely do everything I could to find another doctor to go and see, because what it means is they're not listening to you. And it's not like you're asking them for medicines for like epilepsy or for migraines. You are trying to discuss with your doctor medicines that are prescribed for people with Parkinson's disease. And they're not listening to you, and they should not be refusing to have that discussion. And then again, too, tied to these phobias. Yes, some people have gambling issues and impulse issues, but not everybody. So yeah, I'm not saying that, my way is the only way, but like this is what I was thinking about. Like, what would I do if I was in this person's situation? That would suck. What would I do? And then I don't know how easy it is to switch doctors there. So like there's a lot of different factors to consider, and hopefully some of these ideas, like if you feel a little bit like unsure on how to approach your doctor, because I mean, it can be intimidating. Yeah, so maybe some of these ideas have helped. Hopefully they have. And as always, I truly love hearing from you guys. So thank you for all of your comments. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for taking the time to watch my videos.